Hello, if you're a regular, thank you for stopping by my kitchen again. And if you're new, I hope you enjoy the recipe I'm making for you today, which is peach and butterscotch upside down pudding. It's a wonderful recipe for this time of year. Got peaches on the top, so it ticks the box of a little bit of fruit, a little bit healthy anyway. Very similar to a pineapple upside down cake, except it's peaches and butterscotch. So it's cooked in a baking tray with the peaches and the butterscotch underneath, and then you put the sponge on top, flip it up when it's done, and the peaches all fan out on the top. Oh, it looks absolutely beautiful. You serve it as a pudding straight out of the oven, hot with hot custard. Delicious. Here's how I made it. The first thing we need to do is grease the baking tray. This is a round cake tray, 8 inches or 20 centimeters. And we need to make sure we get the butter up the sides because that's where all the lovely butterscotch is going to be. And just set that aside and we'll melt the butter and the sugar. So this is 1.5 ounces or 40 grams of butter that's going in the pan, and 2 ounces or 50 grams of soft brown sugar. And we'll just leave that in the pan to melt. It's only on low. They're nearly done. So just until the last pieces of butter have melted. That's done. So this is the butterscotch bit. So we just pour this into our greased baking tray. In my sieve here, I just have my draining peaches, and we just pop them in the tray in a nice pattern. I just try and fan all the peaches out. And then at the end, I'll go in and fill all the gaps. There, so when you've got a lovely design, and you don't have to do them in a fan, do them as you want, we'll set that aside and start on the sponge. So to make the sponge for the top of the upside down cake, or the bottom when it's cooked, we're going to put into the bowl and cream 4 ounces of butter. Once that's creamed, we're going to add 4 ounces or 100 grams of caster sugar. I'll just scrape the bowl down to get all the butter and the caster sugar incorporated. In my jug, I have 2 eggs. I'm just going to give them a whisk. Then we'll beat them into the butter and the sugar gradually. And scrape the sides down when you need to. It tends to get splattered all around the bowl. And add the remaining egg. Into this, I'm going to sieve 4 ounces or 100 grams of self-raising flour. And we just fold this in. This needs to be stirred or worked as little as possible really, but we do need to stir it until all the flour has been incorporated into the mixture. So now all that's left to do is put the cake mixture on top of the peaches. But I would advise you to dot small dots all over the mixture because it's quite thin when it's in the cake mixture. Once it's cooked, obviously it's going to rise, but at this point you'll only just have enough to cover. So start off by dotting and it'll be easier to spread. There, just spread that out, being very careful. It's not an easy thing to spread out on top of the liquid of the butterscotch, but that's why we dot. And try not to press it down as you're spreading. There, that would be enough. And that goes into an oven 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes. And I put it in the oven on the baking tray because sometimes the butterscotch just dribbles over the edge a little bit, and then it won't cause your oven any problems. My cake's had 25 minutes, let's see if it's done. So this is how it looks straight out the oven. It's starting to pull away from the sides, and when you press it, it's quite firm. That will be left for 3 to 5 minutes before we turn it out onto a plate. The moment of truth, turning out an upside down cake on camera. Oh dear, here goes. Just knock it, just to make sure it's all coming out. I have run my knife around it. Here that's come down. Here goes. Ta-da! So that needs to be served immediately. Serve with custard and enjoy. If you've enjoyed this recipe, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And if you have any pudding left the next day, it is also delicious served cold.